Figured I'd start the video outside today because finally nice outside, snow's starting to melt, springtime's coming. You guys know what that means. It's riding season, boys. So this is something that hasn't been on the channel yet, but this is my 2004 Honda CBR600 RR. I picked this bike up last year at like the end of summer, and I just got my bike license. And if you guys are watching the videos, you already know me. This thing's still got the stock exhaust. We need to spice her up a little bit. My buddy here in Edmonton gave me the tips off of his dual exit Invidia N1 exhaust on his V8 chassis STI. So since that exhaust was a dual exit, he gave me both tips. Now I used the resonator and I used one tip on the Civic, but I still had one tip left over. And I was looking at my bike when I was getting it ready for the season, changed the oil and shit like that. And then I looked at the exhaust and I had the Invidia sitting right next to it, just the tip. And then I saw it and I was like, fuck, that would be dope. So then what I did was I put an Instagram story up, and I'll post the results right here. I can't even remember what the results were, but you guys would see it. It was everybody said fucking send it. There's only like 4 or 5 people that said it looks like shit, and to those people, I'm sorry, but we're sending it. So this video is not gonna be much of a tutorial. I just kind of wanted to show this just because I always like to do things that are different with my cars and show off who I am as a person. And I think this is fucking hilarious and it showcases it perfectly. Who out there has put a muffler off of a Subaru on a street bike? Find someone and at them in the comments down below, because I don't fucking know a single person that's done this. So I got the stock exhaust here, I got the heat shield off of it, and I got my Invidia tip, and I have the Subaru hangers cut off of it already. So just to show you guys how absolutely nuts this thing's gonna look, this is gonna be an absolute fucking cannon. Now I'm gonna show you guys my only issue here and what I'm gonna need to do to fab this up to make it fit. This pipe, as you can tell, has a nice little bend over into where the exhaust goes down to the mid pipe. And this exhaust, if you take a look at it, is actually a lot longer than the CBR exhaust, and it's gonna hit the plastic where this has a bend. So what I'm gonna need to do is let it stick out a little bit more, and then I'm gonna build my own pipe that bends into right here. And since the OEM heat shields aren't gonna work anymore, I'm gonna need to get my exhaust wrap that I got from Tomei for the headers on my Subaru, just because I'm gonna be ceramic coating them. Just another little hint at the Subaru build. Make sure you guys stay tuned to check that shit out. And then I'll have to wrap this whole pipe all the way down. Now the thing that's nice about this is the only mounts on this exhaust where the muffler is this guy right here. There's just 2 flanges that a bolt goes through to mount up to the top here on the bike. The only other mount is on the pipe, which bolts to the side of the bike, which I'm not gonna need to change because I'm gonna cut it up here anyways. So first things first, just so that we know we're gonna send this for sure, I'm gonna get this pipe cut off, and then there's no going back from there. I mean, I guess I could weld it back on again, but we're sending it. Holy fucking shit. Almost. We almost got it. That was fucking terrifying. All right, we're almost there. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. All right.
We destroyed one Sawzall blade, but she's off. Not too bad of a cut, but I'm gonna get this in the vise here and then wire wheel it just to clean up the surface a little bit. There we go, she's nice and smooth. We got a nice clean surface to weld on. So now I'm gonna get this thing mocked up in the bike and see what I gotta do to make that Invidia tip fit. All right, so here's what I found out. I want this pipe to sit relatively close to flush with the fairing once it gets on there. So if I angle this up like this and I get that mount right where that second bolt is to the right, flush with here, this will be close to flush with the fairing. But as you can see down here, I'm not even close to lined up. If I want it to be straight on from the back, I don't know if you guys can see, but this pipe's way over to the left. And if you look at the way this flange is cut, it's angled to the left and I need it to be angled to the right. So what I'm gonna do to try and make this work is I'm gonna get this flange completely over top of this pipe. I'm gonna pound it all the way down, and then I'm gonna do an angle cut all the way from this end down to here so that I can have like a, I'd say 45 or 60 degree bend to the right so that it can mate up with the pipe on that side. Before we even get this on here though, let's get a sound clip of what this thing sounds like with no muffler on it whatsoever. It's gonna be so loud. Oh my God! That is so loud. And honestly, I don't think that muffler is gonna quiet it down much. Like, that is stupid loud. I couldn't even rev it in the shop because it was like blowing my eardrums off. First ticket I get, no, second, third ticket I get, I'm gonna put the stock muffler back on because that's insane. All right, next step, I guess, I'm gonna get that flange pounded on there and then I'm gonna do that angle cut and see if I can get it to fit. All right, so now we got the flange welded on. Check out them garbage ass welds, bro. So now since it's welded on, I just gotta go mock it up and then measure where I need to make my angle cut on the flange. Okay, so even with the flange in there, this shit ain't even close. So I'm literally gonna need to cut this at a complete angle straight from the top all the way down to the bottom. And then I might need to weld another pipe at an angle sideways. All right, now that I got my not so perfect, but it'll do the job, angle cut there on the pipe, I'm gonna try and weld this pipe at an angle here to try and fit up to the stock exhaust pipe. And then I'll just bend all this metal over this and then just weld this to weld these two pipes together so that there's no leaks. All right, so I'll give you guys an update of where I'm at now. I fitted on the bike the way I had it with that like 45-degree bend pipe welded on, and it was way too long. It covered my brake light, so I went ahead and took this pipe out, and I actually drew out a little piece that I gotta cut out to make that bend fit into the slot that I need. So now I guess let's cut this piece out and then see if I can fit that up and see what the pipe looks like on the bike after that. All right, so I cut that piece out and I mocked it up just on the bike. Then we got it on the bike. I ended up getting the pipe to like the perfect spot where I wanted it. So then I just tacked the tailpipe onto the pipe that was already on the bike. And I'm gonna be honest, my cut wasn't that spot on. So you can see here, I got it tacked on where I want it, but there's a huge gap here. So I cut this piece out of a pipe that I already had. And I'm gonna try to get this piece welded right over top right there just to fill the gaps that are there. So I'll start doing that and hopefully this turns out all right, because so far it looks like fucking shit. But hey, if it doesn't leak, then it's gonna get heat wrapped anyway, so you won't see the welds. And on this side, the cut's a little bit off. As you can see, it doesn't line up, so I need to cut out this part of the metal here. And I'm not gonna be able to get in there with a zip disc, so I'm just gonna use a cutting torch and just zip all this out of here. So I got the exhaust all put together. This exhaust was made by all scrap metal that was just kicking around. And the thing on this CBR is the battery tray sits right here. So this pipe can't go here. It needs to curve over this way. And I don't have a pipe bender here, nor did I have pre-bent pipes that I bought or anything like that. Like I said, all I had was scrap metal. So I'll show you guys what the exhaust looks like. It looks like absolute shit, but I'm wrapping it anyways, so you're not gonna see it. And I already tested it and it doesn't leak. So in my opinion, that's a good job. So here's the exhaust. I still need to take the hangers off of the stock exhaust and then weld them up on here once I get it all put in and mocked up. But I'll show you guys what I had to do with this exhaust here. So I know this looks like an absolute mess of welds, but I actually had to cut slits into this here and hammer it all in just to actually bend this pipe. And then I had a huge gap here, so I had to grab some more scrap metal and weld that in there. Then here I also had a huge gap, so I had to weld another piece of scrap metal in here like you guys saw before. And then I had a huge hole here, so I had to fill that gap. And then right here on the exhaust was actually not hitting the battery tray, but it was a little bit too close, so I pounded it in a little bit just so that I wouldn't be hitting, or just so that it wouldn't be too close to it and get the battery tray super hot. So yeah, I don't know, out of the whole thing, there's a couple nice welds maybe, like that one's pretty nice. Yeah, there's not very many other nice ones. But to be honest, as long as this thing works and it fits and I can get the heat wrap around it and it doesn't get everything too hot and it sounds badass, I'm gonna be happy with it. So now that I got this all built, I'm gonna get it on the bike so I can mock up where I'm gonna put that mount off of the stock muffler. Oh my God. That looks absolutely insane. That's an Invidia N1 muffler off of a V8 chassis STI that I just fabbed up to fit on a fucking CBR600. So I'm not sure if you guys can see how close it actually is in there, but if I move this, it's gonna hit. It's relatively centered right now, but I need it to move up a bit and over. And when I move over a bit, it just gets a little bit closer to that battery tray. So I'm gonna need to heat wrap at least up to here so that it's not getting my battery tray too hot at least. But yeah, that looks fucking nuts. I could do a sound clip right now, but we're gonna wait till the end until I have the whole thing on there, and then you guys can hear what she sounds like. So now the next thing I need to do is I need to cut this mount here off the factory muffler, and then I can just weld this whole piece onto the top of my muffler here. And then she's pretty much done other than heat wrapping it and getting the whole bike back together. Let's see if we can actually lay down some nice welds this time. Nope, can't do it. I don't know what it is. I can't do nice welds anymore. I need to start fucking welding more often. I mean, they're not horrible, but right where my tack was, it just started to come lift a little bit. It was nice at the start though. Check out, what does this side look like? Oh, like shit. Anyways, now that I got that hanger put on there, it's getting late tonight. I'm actually gonna call it a night, but for you guys, this is gonna be 2 seconds in the same video. Then I'm gonna go ahead and heat wrap the whole thing. Make sure I got everything properly protected so that I'm not gonna melt anything on the bike and so that I'm not gonna melt through any brake lines, which is, brakes are important, right? I guess you don't really need brakes to go fast, so it doesn't matter. All right, it's a new day. As you can see, I'm in normal clothes now. I'm done all the welding. Rocking the socks and sandals today. If you know, you know, comfiest thing ever. Since I've done all the welding, I brought the bike over to the other shop and I got the exhaust on there just so I could ride the bike back over here. But now we're ready to do the heat wrap. The heat wrap that I'm using actually came with the Tomei headers for the STI, but I'm gonna be getting my headers ceramic coated, so I'm not gonna need this heat wrap for my headers. So we're gonna use it on the CBR. I'll just time lapse through me heat wrapping them because I'm sure that's gonna take forever. So I got the exhaust all wrapped up. I didn't end up running the stock heat shield because I think the wrap looks a little bit better. And I didn't end up wrapping the tip. I'm gonna put it on the way it is, and then if it gets too hot and starts melting stuff, then I'll wrap this portion of the exhaust. Now let's get it on the bike and get everything back together. Well, that looks fucking stupid, but I love it at the same time. I don't like these gray pieces on the side from the stock exhaust, and it sits a little bit lower than I wanted it to, but I couldn't put it any higher because then you can't see the stoplight, and that's one thing on a bike. You definitely want people to see that you're putting your brake lights on because, I don't know, that's a safety thing in my opinion. That's something that I had to do it. I had to do it. I had to sacrifice the look for safety, and it looks funny as hell. Definitely gonna catch some eyes from people. I don't think anybody's gonna look at this and be like, oh yeah, he has an Invidia exhaust on a street bike. I don't think Invidia even makes exhaust for street bikes. But in the end, I'll show you guys what the wrap looks like from the side and stuff too. I think seeing a wrapped exhaust back there, it's such a small thing because this carbon fiber piece covers it, but it just looks baller as fuck knowing that you have a wrapped exhaust behind there. And you can see it too from under here. Give you guys a quick look underneath how insanely close that exhaust is to the battery tray. But there's this extra plastic shield here and I got a shit ton of heat wrap there, so it should be all right. And since this mount sits so low, you guys probably can't see it very well on camera, but it sits pretty far away from the seat, so I don't think there's gonna be any heat issues with that muffler. So yeah, I guess now the moment you guys have been waiting for. Let's see what this shit sounds like. All right, this is it. Warm up for a bit and then we'll get some revs going. Oh shit! Yeah, it kind of runs like shit now. Max is warmed up, let's give her a couple fucking revs. That was like 5,000. Oh, I don't know how much I want to send it. Holy fucking hell. Oh my God. I'm getting a ticket. I'm getting a ticket. For sure. I guarantee I'm gonna get a fucking ticket. That is so fucking loud. Holy shit. So yeah, overall, I'm pretty fucking hyped on this. Like, it turned out super good, in my opinion. The welds are absolute shit, but it's wrapped and it doesn't leak, so you don't even see it. Looks like a quality ass custom exhaust with an Invidia N1 tip off of a V8 chassis Subaru. I am gonna apologize though, because I ended up ripping the bike apart before I got a video of what the stock exhaust sounds like. And that sucks because the best part about these videos is seeing like how quiet the stock exhaust is, and then I do this and then it's just super obnoxious and just like absolutely nuts. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this shit as much as I did. Let me know if you guys want to see more crazy shit like this in the comments. Make sure you guys stay tuned because I'm gonna be going absolute ham on the Subaru build here soon. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Catch you in the next one.